And then, all right, we're
It's
live.
going. I was literally so I was prepared and yet still somehow unprepared. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Senior Marketing Specialist University. Today we are talking about how to use ancillary products to generate leads. I think at the end of the day, to generate revenue, right? We've talked about this a long time. You can either grow your book of business by growing the lives you're insuring or growing the amount of policies that you have on your books. And ancillary products is such a great way to accomplish both of those. So that's what we're talking about today. It's how to, I think it's particularly, ooh, is that a word I can't say?
Maybe.
That
sounds like it.
Tumultuous was tumultuous. Today we're talking about how to add more lives to your book of business through the use of ancillary products. So before we get into it, we'll do some introductions. My name is Olivia Richardson. I am our Vice President of Corporate Alliances here at Senior Marketing Specialist.
And I'm Sadie Palmer. I'm the team leader of our Training and Education Department.
So there you have it. That's why you should listen to us talk about these things, because we've been doing it for a long time, and we have the opportunity to work with agents who are doing this and who are actively using. In fact, I don't think Gio sees this, but I actually use a quote from Gio, who's on our agent resources team that sells insurance and does a lot of let me get new clients by writing the ancillary product. He's kind of our perfect little case study for this.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Sadie, before we get into it, can you please hit us with some truths? Tell us about some housekeeping.
Sure. So for some housekeeping, whenever we are done with this live, if you're not familiar with YouTube lives, the recordings of those lives will go straight to the page. So if you want to access this again, you can just go to our YouTube homepage and then click the live tab, and it will be under there. So you can always come and check that out. Obviously, our follow-up process is a little different than whenever we did webinars because you don't register for this. So for right now we're figuring out a solution for that. But for right now, just give our office a call if you want a follow-up, or let us know in the live chat, text Olivia during this, whatever you'd like to do. Just let us know if you want to follow up, because we'd love to talk to you about this. Let's see.
This one will have a really strong call to action too.
Yes.
Because our agent outreach team, we are really recently have started seeing new products coming out in these ancillaries, especially your supplemental companies, because they're saying we got to diversify. Medicare supplements aren't as popular as they used to be.
Yeah.
So you're seeing a lot more carriers enter the space. So it's really important to have a partner who can kind of wade through, frankly, the BS and say, yeah, this company is going to have great advertising and marketing, but here's the company that's actually going to benefit your client. So it is important. So there is a strong call to action. Use it.
Yes. And then also, speaking of live chat and texting Olivia, use it throughout the webinar. We would love to chit chat with you guys. Makes our job a lot more fun. If you use the live chat, everybody can view it. The
live chat is somewhere.
We're backwards.
But this one's about me, so I care.
Oh, yes. And then this number, you can text Olivia, and just Olivia sees it. So if you have, a question you don't want out there, or if you don't have a YouTube account, you can text Olivia and still chit chat with us throughout live. That's all I have as far as housekeeping goes.
Perfect. You're driving the bus as far as slides are going. So we're going to go ahead and break into it today, talking about, again, these leads and why ancillary. So we've been talking about ancillary products for the entirety of my career here, and we've seen them uptick lately, but just have never quite seen ancillary products take off in the way that they really deserve to.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about ancillary products, I'm going to skip down to that bottom point. We're talking about anything that's not what we consider core. So dental, vision, hearing, cancer insurance, hospital indemnity, recovery care, that's going to be your home health care or short-term care policies, and then critical illness, so cancer, heart attack, stroke. I tend to break cancer out on its own because there's some really, really great cancer plans, standalone cancer plans, but they do have critical illness as well. We don't have on here annuity. And annuity is and that's on purpose, because I see a lot of our agents who are doing both Medicare, both health insurance, and annuities. They're using more of the commodity product, which is Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage. They're using that commodity product to build the relationship, build the trust, to then get into their finances and get the relationship enough to ask for the annuity sale. And so I don't see annuity as often as a lead generating product, though it can be if that's your main market. This other stuff is where I think you can really see people build their book of business with.
Yeah, absolutely. A big thing with ancillary is just diving into like why ancillary. A big reason I think alone why ancillary makes so much sense is because there's no acquisition cost with it. So you're adding more to your book of business that already exists. Instead of having to go out and find new leads, brand new people, prospects, and have to build that whole relationship, spend money on it. Do you know how much it costs? I don't remember, but I know recently we had like a stat
client
somewhere.
acquisition
Yes,
cost?
yeah.
So the industry average, right? If you're talking, it depends on like how you're delivering insurance. The industry average that we're seeing is over $600 per client.
Oh my gosh, I was
Per new
literally
client.
thinking it was like $200, and in my head that was a lot.
Back in the day, whenever we were doing this back in 2018, you know, we actually ran the math. It was about $280 per client. Now,
Yeah.
and we'll let's talk about that. Like with and some of the things that we're talking about here. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, quite frankly, a lot of people like can't afford that.
No,
you can't afford to go out and find these
your
new leads.
Medicare Advantage client first year will hardly cover that if they're brand new to Medicare Advantage, and your Medicare supplement commission doesn't cover that the first year.
Right.
So you're really not making any income on your clients until year 2
Yeah.
of them holding most policies
Yeah.
with you. So, but we're talking about why ancillary specifically for lead gen, so bringing on new people to you. Number one, when I say a traditional lead, I'm talking about the old school methods of can't door knock, can't cold call, can't do a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
And the old traditional mailers and internet leads surrounding Medicare, the response rates are just diving because, again, so many people have entered the Medicare space as really being clouded by so much activity. So you're not seeing the traditional lead generation. That's why client acquisition cost is so high.
Right, exactly.
The response rate is abysmal. And another thing I love about this is that the amount of beneficiaries who actually have these products, we see the numbers. I see the production. I talk to the carriers. They're so incredibly low. The usage, not even the usage, because if they have it, they use it. The sales, there's nobody who is actively selling these products or clients that have them.
Yes.
And the only reason for that is because clients aren't educated. It's not because there isn't a need. It's not because they don't want them.
Right.
It's because clients are educated because agents aren't talking about it.
Right.
These plans, when you lead in with a product like dental, vision, hearing, like cancer, like home health care, a lot of these products actually require less trust to like get your foot in the door in. A lot of them won't have any underwriting. A lot of your hospital indemnity plans, a lot of those will have no underwriting. Dental, vision, hearing, no underwriting. A lot of your home health care plans, little to no underwriting. So you don't have to there's not a lot of barriers for that sale up front. And the premiums are so low. And people are feels like there's a less risk involved because you're not dealing with a lot of these cases, they're healthcare. You're dealing with extra cushiony financing.
Right.
So it's less of a barrier, less trust necessary, less barrier to entry, and a lot of people, again, need it. So that's why ancillary, we always talk about ancillary as a cross-selling, as like here's a current client, here's like what you were talking about earlier, here's how you make more money and help that person more protection.
Yeah.
There's a way to add more lives to your book with ancillary production. Let's get into and again, I'm checking out my text messages. Make sure, even if you're watching the recorded version of this, feel free to shoot me a text. I'm here all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
So here's kind of the first one. I talked about how I'm quoting Geo. Here's kind of the first, my like number one thing when I think of adding lives to your book of business via ancillary product is this right here. You get a lead or referral, you talk to somebody, you sit down, you build the relationship with them, go with the Medicare 101, and it turns out maybe they're on TRICARE, or it turns out maybe they're staying on their group insurance because their spouse hasn't aged on a Medicare yet, or they're on a Medicare Advantage plan and there's nothing that can be done for them yet, right? Oftentimes, if you're not selling ancillary products, it's like, okay, well, let's try again in October, or call me when things change. And here's the funny thing about that. If you are wanting to write them a Medicare Advantage plan, you can't call them later unless you have permission to contact. They have to reach out to you or sign that form. What I love about this is it allows you to get your foot in the door and allows you to leave with something. So like on a Medicare Advantage client, I really like the idea of like, oh, okay, so say you're my client, right? It's really, I'm going to say fun. I love to create the doubt of somebody, of my competition. If I say, okay, Sadie, perfect. Sounds like you have United Healthcare. That's honestly the plan. Like you made an excellent choice. You picking that plan, excellent choice. That's probably the plan that I would have recommended. Who's your hospital benefit through? And then they say, well, I just told you I have United Health. No, that's your Medicare Advantage plan. But what's your plan to cover those if you go to the hospital or like you need an ambulance ride? Like you have pretty big copays with those. All these plans do. What's your hospital benefit? And your agent didn't tell you that you could. Did they? Surely they told you that like there was something available to cover that, right? Oh my goodness. Thank goodness you and I had a chance to talk. A lot of my clients want to make sure that gets taken care of.
Yeah.
It's so easy to create doubt when you don't get the MA sale. And guess what? Come AEP, they're now a current client. You don't need the permission to contact. You can call them and ask to do an annual review with them. And you hopefully created enough doubt with that other agent that like, you never say like, oh, you picked that plan. I wouldn't have picked that plan because you don't want to insult them.
Right.
So you're complimenting them on their choices, but saying, thank goodness I'm here to educate you because like I always make sure my clients know that this is an option.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's a big one. Like I said, Geo, I love that you spend all time building this rapport and relationship with someone, but you're unable to help them with a core product. Finding an ancillary product is a good beneficial for the agents and the clients. He had no idea. I'm going to give him a screenshot of this actual quote. He had no idea I was quoting him on it, but I was like, gosh, I can't say it any better myself than an actual agent talking about this is why I sell it. He says a lot of his ancillary products come from I couldn't sell them on the initial sale.
You know, a lot of people also, on top of that, a lot of people might come to you. There's this misconception out there for people who are just now getting on Medicare or have been on Medicare for a year or two and really haven't used it very much that
I was like drinking. I was like, ooh, was that gross?
Sorry,
the mics are too good.
Just a little gulp sounds
gulp
in there.
Action.
But sometimes people come in and they think for a while until they really have to use their plan. Oh, well, like Medicare covers everything.
Medicare covers everything, the holy grail.
And so it literally might,
doesn't.
you will find like, even if someone has been on a Medicare Advantage plan or a Medicare supplement plan for a while, if they haven't had to use a benefit or something, they might be shocked to find out that MedSups don't cover dental, vision, hearing. They might be shocked to find out that like Medicare isn't going to cover their ambulance ride or whatever it may be. So
not fully, right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And so yeah, you might find that people will be more surprised, and that just kind of helps with that like misconception, especially if they haven't had to use their benefits as much.
And it's, again, people aren't buying these policies because they don't want them. It's because they don't know about them.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Let's go on to the next one. So we talked about, again, the first way to gain your book of business, it's your backup plan. I couldn't tell you on the first one. Let's get you at least with something, get you on my books. Throw a wider net. This is one that I love that I think, again, we've talked about a little bit, but talking about seminars and mailers, kind of taking some of those more traditional routes of getting people on your books and just changing the topic. So Medicare response rates falling. When you're doing things like mailers. Seminars, we're actually starting to see like a huge resurgence of seminars surrounding Medicare, but a lot of people are doing it now, and a lot of people are online. People are finding out that Medicare seminars work, so everybody's doing them.
Yes, and with door knocking going away, I think that there's a level of like the people that want to get in front of people. Seminars is a way in which you can do that. They just have to come to you versus you going to them. But it's kind of like a similar vibe.
It is. It is, like, very much so. So whenever we're talking about doing mailers, right now, like a mailer on a Medicare lead is less than 1%, far less, and falling. If you still like the idea of doing mailers, and mailers are still popular in a lot of ways, we're talking about like using a mail house, right? Not using a personal mailer that's branded.
Right.
Those are really popular with dental insurance, mainly because again, I'm going to be a broken record. People know how dental works. It's easy. It doesn't require being explained why you need dental insurance. People want dental insurance. No underwriting. So like you're not going to be people, can be, if they say, yes, I'm interested in it, then that's a sale. If anybody raises their hands that's like versus like a Medicare lead, you're going to close maybe 20. A good agent closes 20 to 30% of their Medicare leads.
Yeah.
A dental lead's a slam dunk.
Yeah.
And then the no underwriting and the really, really cheap premiums. Huge. Now, one thing I will say, I'm talking about dental a lot. That's a slam dunk product. It's easy. Cancer insurance is the best seminar. Talking about the unmedical cost or the non-medical cost of cancer, we have seminars on that. They're crazy popular because everybody has when they hear cancer, people have an emotional stories. They hear about it. They know the horror stories. So they want to bring people who have experienced that. And that's a really great seminar topic. which we have. We have a cancer seminar. They don't work for dental or for mailers because if you're not there to like be a person to talk about it, no one thinks they're going to get cancer. Even though statistics show at this point 1 in 2 men, 1 in 3 women will get diagnosed, nobody thinks they're actually going to get diagnosed.
Right.
So it is a hard product when you're just trying to just bring people in. Cancer's a hard one to lead with.
Yeah.
But it is very good for educational seminars.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's like a little nuanced in the sense of like people will look at a mailer and go, Medicare covers like cancer stuff, whatever, like move on. But it's like, that's not necessarily what like cancer products are about. They're about covering all of the unexpected costs that Medicare won't cover. Just to like name a few: traveling, gas, hotels, like wigs, a lot of medications and stuff like that. So it deserves a conversation. People will just write it off if they're just like, oh, whatever. If you have a seminar, then it's like, okay, what is this about?
Yes.
So
and you're encouraging people to bring them. Like, here's what it comes down to: when do people ask about cancer insurance? When they were diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah. Okay. That's true.
And so like when you're going to get people there who have been diagnosed and are looking for resources and looking for help, who are bringing their caregivers, who are bringing decision makers to that. So unfortunately, a lot of the people who attend those are going to be people that you can still help. Again, check out our Care Initiative webpage, Cancer Insurance Awareness Resources and Education. We have a ton of resources on there for people who are diagnosed with cancer but didn't get insurance. But what it does is that the people who are in the room who are diagnosed didn't have it will speak up about how cancer insurance would have helped them.
Yeah, that's
and people
very true.
who are the caregivers, people there will be buying that product at that seminar.
Yeah.
So huge. And the thing I have on here is compliance. Why don't know her? I wanted to put don't know her, but I wasn't going to put that in writing. But compliance when it comes to these types of this type of marketing, you don't have CMS in your business.
That's true.
Because these are non-CMS appointed products. Yeah. This is not Medicare Advantage. This is not PDP. These are Department of Insurance. So you have to abide by, obviously, the Federal Trade Commissions and how you advertise and things like that. Don't be threatening to break hips in exchange for signatures. But you don't have CMS in your pocket when it comes to trying to market these events and market for these. And these are marketing events, not educational, not sales.
And especially if you're trying to dive into getting into seminars for like AEP, if you want to do an ANOX, start doing ancillary seminars right now, and then you kind of get that down before you dive into the other stuff. But
cut your teeth on it for sure.
Yeah, exactly. But again, like what she was saying was like, if you're doing it over simple sort of things like dental, it's so easy for people to understand. I don't know if I necessarily do an over dental, but you know what I mean? Like it's easier for people to understand. There's a little less there. Seminars are great to bring friends.
There is one that I would do. There's a seminar that we have that really does get into the dental, and it's the top 5 things or five things that Medicare won't cover. And it talks about like the holds of cancer, the holds of home health care, the holds of dental, the holds of long-term care. And so you're talking about all these different ancillary products, but you're attracting the Medicare audience. But people are so, like, again, you know, it's exciting, it's scared. People want to know, like, what am I missing out on? What's Medicare not going to cover? And it's talking about these ancillary products where they really do fill those gaps.
On, like, a mass basis. Yeah, throwing a wide net.
Let's talk a little bit about the next. I have 2 more slides to go over. This one's going to be talking about your best lead. Sadie, exactly what you started today talking about. Your best lead is your current clients. I love it when I'm talking to people and they're like, I need to grow. I love revenue generating conversations. I need to grow my revenue by 20% this year. What I love about this is when I talk to them, tell me about your current book of business, what's your current client looks like. If they say anything over 250 people, the first thing I'm saying is, or like especially, let's not look at leads. You don't need leads. We need to make that book of business work for you.
Yeah.
And the first way we talk about that is doing ancillary production. Sadie, can you kind of hit on this? I'm putting you on the spot here. Can you talk about what we call the Apple approach and why multiple product lines build that loyalty?
Yes. So the Apple approach, this is referring to the Apple technology, like line of study. Yes.
With my Apple Watch, on my Apple phone, on my iPad, like I am for sure a victim of Apple.
Which is precisely it. Whenever you buy one, you end up buying multiple because they all work together. You're getting them from the same place. Yes. I will even give an example. I am all Apple, everything except my watch. My watch is Garmin. But other than that, and I am tempted to get an Apple Watch, even though I love my Garmin simply
Yeah.
because of this reason. But I have AirPods. I
Mm.
hate my AirPods. I think that they are terrible. They
You're really
disconnect all
selling
the
this Apple
time. They're
stuff.
really,
I'm
but I
no,
won't,
preach.
but I won't not use them because they work with everything else and I can
Yeah.
get the same tech support from the same place. I can like,
Mm-hmm.
it's bundled. I still use them every
Yeah.
single day, even though I could tell you that there's probably, now, granted, you won't be selling a product that's just like garbage like that,
We'll be selling a
but
product that's garbage. We'll make sure you're not selling
you aren't,
garbage.
but the point is that whenever someone has multiple products with you,
Yeah.
they're more likely to keep buying products from you. Yeah, so that's the Apple approach.
Yeah. Oh, that's so true. And again, it's easy. Like I'm not going if I'm talking to somebody and I have my cancer insurance policy, my dental policy, my Medicare supplement, and my PDP with them, and I'm sitting there thinking like, ooh, I need to make sure like if I go in the nursing home, how am I paying for that? I'm not then going to start shopping
You're not
insurance
thinking
agents.
twice.
I'm going to the person that I have
Yes.
everything else with. So
Or if you see it advertised somewhere else or someone's trying to
just go
talk
call-
to you, you go, okay, cool. And then you go to the person that you already have it. Yes,
Exactly. And so that's exactly it. Now, how do you bring this up for somebody? It's really like if you're starting a new process, it's really easy to say, okay, I'll do this for my appointments going forward. But then your current book of business is being left uncovered and really not tapped into. So if you're having an annual appointment with your clients, which you absolutely should be, if you're not doing that, then we need to go back a few steps. But at your annual appointments, there's kind of two things I've heard about this. Like I really like this approach. So Sadie, you and I are doing a review.
Okay.
And at the end, and at the beginning of the appointment, I would say, okay, Sadie, yes. And this get at the beginning of the appointment, not the end. Beginning of the appointment, I said, okay, Sadie, today, like, we're just gonna review your plan. I'll let you know kind of the changes that are happening. I do want to let you know I'm seeing a trend. A lot of my clients have been asking me about cancer lately, or a lot of my clients have been asking me about getting care at home versus a nursing home. So I want to make sure I address that with you too. I love that approach. It's group. It's saying like, oh, if other people are concerned about this, and I probably should be too. I'm not alone in this. And it's a really easy way of like, I'm an advisor. I have other people in this situation. This is what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I also heard one the other day that I really liked. It was like we sit down an appointment and say, okay, Sadie, I've been thinking about this. Or like whenever, like maybe it's not an annual appointment. Maybe I'm reaching out to you about this. And it's, hey, Sadie, again, I know we have our appointment coming up next October. I hope everything's going well for you. I just heard a horror story for one of my other clients. So I'm reaching out to my people to make sure that they don't have questions about this. And insert, I heard a horror story. They got diagnosed with cancer and they're not able to get some of their medicines covered.
Mm-hmm.
Or I just heard a horror story. My client's is in a nursing facility right now and they're trying to put him on Medicaid, right? Like there's all these things that is like, I heard a horror story. I'm reaching out. I thought of you. I want to make sure you understand how this works.
Yeah.
Really easy ways and to make you, again, come across as an advisor to reach out to your current book of business.
Right. Yes.
The last thing I like about this slide is that a lot of the work we'll do for you. Senior Marketing Specialist does have quarterly newsletters and mailers. They're really easy ways, and they do two things. I love a task that kills multiple birds with one stone.
Mm-hmm.
And, or in some, you know what? I'm not going to do this. This is professional. This isn't cafe.
This is
I'm going to stay
professional.
professional. Okay. So, and what I love about those is that like you can do like a cancer mailer, like, and it's branded towards you. It has your logo on it, even your headshot if you want on it. And like the other ones, when I say like lead gen, use a mail house. These, if you're sending it to your current clients, use your own. And what it does, once it keeps your name, your logo, your information in front of them, keeps you top of mind, helps you with that retention 100%. But it also says like it's an easy way for them. You will get people calling you from it. You absolutely will, because they know you and they trust you.
Yeah.
And two, at that appointment, it's like, hey, I sent you. Have you been getting my mail? Have you been getting my postcards about these things? Really low pressure, easy way to one, let them know that you offer it, and two, give you a doorway to bring it up.
Yeah. And just offering them like another resource. It's
100%.
another touch, a
Always.
touch point throughout the year. Yeah.
Touch. We want to touch. Last slide, guys, we're talking about here is talking about your referrals.
Nah.
No! Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there we
that would've been horrible to hear. Talking about your referral network again, I loved, a lot of us here know Chalon Jackson. When I actually posed this question to our sales team about like, hey guys, how are we talking to agents about this? And he just wrote a book on how to do a lot of this stuff. And he really talked about the referral networks and how many people are limiting their space and limiting not working with people under age 65 because they don't want to do ACA or they don't want to do group insurance. With like girls saying, I don't want any there. I know too much about Medicare. I can't fit much more in here, right? And talking about, but a lot of these group coverages have crap for cancer insurance, don't really have great dental benefits, don't do life insurance on them. With the ACA doing what it did since 2012, really hurting group insurance and underage coverage, there's a lot of holes and a lot left to be desired. So a lot of these almost all of these products can be written on families and can go under age 65. I actually just heard about a product last week with Manhattan Life, and it was an ACA alternative. And I'm like, I don't know. I know enough about the underage market to be dangerous. And it took 5 minutes for somebody to sit down to me and be like, this is how it works. And I'm like, I'm sold. Like,
cool.
I would 100% have my family on this ACA alternative plan with Manhattan Life. And it took no time. And so whenever you're working with somebody who's 65, that maybe, you know what I've seen a lot of times? People will continue to work past age 65 because their spouse can't be on ACA. They have too high of an income. So that ACA coverage is going to be incredibly expensive and incredibly useless.
Right.
So they're working past 65 until their spouse is. So when you say, okay, let me take care of the spouse, we'll put them on like a Manhattan Life ACA alternative, you can get on Medicare and you can retire.
Cool.
That's like a huge, huge benefit that you can offer to these people, especially if they're at a higher income and don't qualify for a lot of these subsidies, and knowing that a lot of these subsidies are likely going away with the Trump administration. So things like that. Don't limit your nets. Don't limit and exactly... don't make sure that people know that you offer these products and you don't have to turn anybody away.
Right. That's exactly right.
And these ancillary products, again, I can't say it enough. People aren't buying these ancillary products. It's not because they don't want them. It's not because they don't need them. It's because they don't know about them.
That's right.
When they were in under age 65, they either picked an ACA plan or they picked a group plan, and it's truly like, they've never shopped for insurance. They said, these are my options. I'm going to pick that one and move on with my life. This, when they turn 65, is the first time they have to truly shop and truly do that, and oftentimes on their own. And that's why as agent, as an advisor, you have to educate them about a full portfolio versus just the easy commodity product.
Yes. I know that a big misconception whenever it comes to ancillary products is people are like, well, it gets too salesy because I have to add extra like appointments to everybody and all that sorts of thing. That's not necessarily true. No. And then also we have, this is a side note, a different webinar for a different day, but we have something called the 8-step selling process. We have resources out there about that in ways in which you can make your appointment holistic. So if you're having that annual appointment and you're going through the whole gist of everything with someone, use a fact finder. So that way you're able to let them know subtly, hey, do you have dental coverage? Do you have this? Are you interested in anything, whatever it may be, however it may be worded. But we also have resources and trainings on ways in which you can incorporate these into prospect appointments and then also client appointments.
I think something I heard last week was actually Galen Hendricks, Queen of the Bundle, as a lot of people know her, said last week, if you're not diversifying your products, if you're literally just selling Medicare Supplement and Medicare Advantage Plan, your entire lifestyle is relying on CMS. You're relying your lifestyle on the government.
That is so true.
And so why are you allowing the government to dictate your lifestyle and dictate your sales?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what everybody's scared of. That's what's scary. And especially
it happened last year.
Yes. And especially if most people's, the majority of their book, and it's even going this way, is going to be Medicare Advantage, that literally can change year to year. And it will. Yes, exactly.
So again, it's better for your clients. It's better for you. It's better for the industry. Making sure, I don't care if you're selling it during the appointment or coming back and cross-selling it or whatever the case may be, just make sure your clients, they're going to just make sure they know about it, you know?
Well, and even so, like your competition down the road is probably selling ancillary 100%. Products or some ancillary products. Yes. So it's better that they hear it from you and they don't hear it. The example that she was giving earlier, whenever she was talking about like bringing in someone who has a base plan, but they've never heard of these ancillary products. You don't want to be the agent on the other side.
You don't want to be the agent that I'm training against. You can make them look really
Yeah.
really subpar
Right.
by not letting people know about this.
Yeah, exactly. Because quite frankly, if someone does come to you and go, well, I didn't know that you had this. I
Yeah.
heard this from someone else. The excuse of, oh, well, like, I just didn't want to like bother you.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't going to be
I didn't
like
wanna
good
come
enough.
across salesy.
Yeah.
Like, again, we're over time. We can go all day about if you feel, we should do a webinar on that. If you feel this, it's because you think that.
Yeah.
If you know, that's a really good, we should do a cafe on that.
Okay.
If you want to know, whenever you're talking about like, why is Olivia not, what is she talking about? If this is your first time working with us and you're like, Olivia's talking about being professional. I'm usually not on my weekly show, Medicare Cafe, Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. That's going to be a cafe episode.
Yeah.
If you feel this, you probably think that. But in the meantime,
Yeah.
guys, please, any questions, comments, concerns, threats, or promises, let us know. Again, that is my cell phone number. You can text me at any time, and either during a live show or if you're watching the recorded version of this, I'm happy to get with you and answer your questions. But again, this is a really important topic. I want to make sure that people truly understand the importance of these ancillary products and filling the holes left behind by Medicare.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know if you're willing to put in the chat or text Olivia who all is selling ancillary products and what are the ones that you feel like are been the like most valuable to your business. What are the ones that people are like interested in hearing about?
Yeah, I think so.
It can kind of change year to year, especially it's like with some of the it'll be interesting to see how ancillary plans fluctuate in popularity based on what is going to happen this year, how MA benefits change and stuff like that. We might see like a big influx in dental plans or a bigger need for dental plans because like, you know, do you know what I mean?
No, the carriers are talking about it, especially your supplemental companies. You know, we know that a big med sup company, I'm not going to say names because I was sworn to secrecy for now, is coming out with a hospital indemnity plan for the first time ever.
Cool.
Because there are these companies who are saying, we see what the market's doing in med sup. And so you're going to see probably a little bit more of a flood of ancillary products from the carriers themselves. We've seen that the past few years. And I write, make sure you have a right partner that's going to tell you based on your sales, based on where you're at, based on your, what's the word whenever it's like how important things are? Starts with a P. How you... What's it called?
Prioritize.
Prioritizing. What your priorities are will help you pick out the carrier.
Yes.
This is a fun game that I play of just like, tell me what's in my head.
What's the word?
What's the word?
I will get it like 25% of the time.
You're doing very well.
Thanks.
All right, guys. We appreciate your time today. Again, feel free to reach out to us. Give us a call. Reach out to us. Get on our website. Use our live chat feature as well. We do have live chat Monday through Friday. It is from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And just hang out with us. Talk to us. You don't get triage. It's not like a robot. You'll talk to Gio. You'll talk to Clayton, Sean, Deanna, Ben, Sean, and Summer and Kendra. And you'll actually, I'm just listing people who I love.
And another Sean, and another Sean, and another Sean.
We have so many Seans and so many Matts.
Yeah, we have a lot of Seans, lots of Matts.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys. Until next time.